basically my dad was kind of. That's why I couldn't meet her. I couldn't meet him for 10 years before he died. So basically, when I was first grade of junior high, I accidentally grabbed a lip cream on the table, which was for my dad. Like my dad used it, and like I think it was right hand.
Because
I didn't hate him, but because it was puberty, and I couldn't get along with him well. But there was a conflict that inside of me that like I don't hate him, but I couldn't get along with him. That like people thinks I hate him, but the point is he thinks I hate him, but I don't want to hurt him. But the situation basically hurts him. But I don't want to hurt him, but like I couldn't help with it. So that conflict.
Well, you're a kid. Yeah.
And then like so I grabbed that lip cream. I felt like how do you call it? Like I'd say like dirtiness is on the hand, on my hand.
And then
and even though I washed my hand a lot, it never gone. So that like at first I used like
hand clean, like soap,
like hand gloves,
like a soap. The gloves. Gloves.
But
then they had to be clean, and then everything had to be clean. Yeah, and then it kind of like spirals.
Like I was it was ranking basically, so that I was following that. Like so basically the thing I love, for example, like comics or like DVDs or something like that, I couldn't touch it because I'm dirty. But like I couldn't touch my dad or like my family basically, or like the food my mom cooked, because my mom was working with him, and so that they were all dirty, so that I cannot touch it. He lived with his grandma.
I'm sorry. I brought it up.
That's fine. Yeah. I just, and it was kind of awkward after a long time. And I, like, now I'm kind of totally fine. Like, because so that I don't have much social experience before I came here. So like, actually social experience makes you better, basically. That, because even though you obsess with something, you cannot keep obsessing in the society when you are in school or something. So that actually it helped me, even though like human relation is hard for me, but for obsession it's kind of helped. But because till recently I didn't have that much social experience, my obsession was still there. So that like I'd say the way to think, or my mentality was still kind of not
okay,
or not usual. but yeah. But because he was cancer, so like I knew, like my family knew that I'm gonna regret if I don't see him before. So because I went back to last April, like just years ago, to talk to him, like not see him, to talk to him. And like it was so basically more or less 10 years after last I met him.
Wow.
And because like on that time, like it was only 2 months more till the summer holiday, so that we thought he gonna stay up for it.
Yeah.
But actually, like just 3 weeks before summer holiday, he died. So that, yeah. Of course, I regret at some point that I think I'm gonna regret when I have family or something. I think more. But actually, like obviously, rest of my family is kind of supportive to me. So that like, I personally believe that like life after death, or like life coming back to life, next life. Like a cycle of life.
Yeah, reincarnation, cycle of life.
That kind of thing, I believe it. So it helps me, I think. Like I was surprised that most of my friends or family said me that isn't it scary to go study abroad. But I thought because there is only human anyway on this planet, so that what's the matter? I thought like language would be the problem obviously, but like otherwise they're only human, not aliens.
No.
So that, but actually when I'm doing essay now for unit, and like it's basically about how the costume contribute to the build up stereotype. And so that I was researching about I was reading a book which was about the understanding to the other culture. And in that book the author said that the hard thing to understand the other culture is the culture is undescribable sometimes. So that like at each point I had some specific dream and I try to follow it, but like dream was changing too as I changing. So that like I think I've been doing my best for each point, but I don't know, like there are some people who strongly follow their settled dreams to be like, banker or that kind of like serious job. But like for me, because I think quite early I became like the student who cannot go to the school, so I kind of knew that life doesn't go what you want to or what you expect to, so I just did my best at each point. At each point I did what I can do
for the best. And I think I'm gonna continue it. I think I cannot change my way to live anymore. Yeah, I think what I emotionally attached the most is nature. That's why I think my home is home, because there are huge gardens. Because when I was staying in home, like I was kind of very ill, so that I couldn't get, I didn't want get any attention from the someone, so that I couldn't go outside. But like my home has a lot of windows, so that I could see nature from inside. Time, my mom, and I just fed up being inside. I think those three is the reason how I get over my depression. No, like basically I didn't depress that much. That I just obsessed to be clean. So that like, you know, sometimes someone said I want to die or something, their emotional power from inside is sometimes much stronger than those who just live. So I think I'm that kind of person. Like even though I sometimes say I want to die, it doesn't mean I don't have any power inside. I think the reason why I said I get depressed is because I have a power to get depressed. So if you don't have any power, you don't even get depressed. You just live. You just continue to live. I think there are no right or wrong thing, you know. It's all the way of perspective and where to put the sense of values. So that I believe I just decide to believe the circle of life and the world after this. So that like when my dad has passed away, I bought a earrings that how do you call it, stairs, which
a spiral staircase?
Yeah, spiral stair, like which forms spiral stair, that like, because I put hope on it to meet my dad again, anywhere, anytime after.
Area of Sendai, close to the station, and I set up the studio with my friends, Igu and Hiro. They are Ashtanga yoga teachers. Also, they have vegan cafe in Sendai, and so I started, I talked to them and I asked my yoga teacher, Naoko Sensei, to open kind of her yoga studio so I can manage and I'll do everything. That's how it started. It was 2010 and we started from then. After 1 year later, earthquake happened and we had to move to other place, and that's the one in Honcho, the one right now still doing the business there. I cannot say that all of this yoga studio in Japan at the time was not good, because I never visited all of them, but mostly was, especially in Tohoku in Sendai. It was more for elderlies based and really slow. More like, I think it's more based on Japanese culture. You have to kind of like, you have to stretch, you have to breathe, and a lot of disciplines in the class. And it was not really what I wanted. I wanted to create more like a community class. People talk about things freely and talk about healthy food, talk about yoga and many other things. That's why we started the yoga class or yoga studio. I believe that was the biggest earthquake in the history, and since we were in the city, the tsunami didn't hit us, but just, I think it's good if you put this way, because the ground is something that you take it as a granted. And when you're standing and when you're lying down, like, it's always fine. But then imagine that trust kind of to the ground is shaking, and then you cannot even stand and you cannot even sleep. So that was, and then the biggest one in the history. It gave a lot of people like different kind of damage, mentally, physically, and since it's a natural disaster, you don't know when again it can happen. And then other issues and many other issues involved. But since I was doing yoga and I was teaching yoga, we took it more, not a positive way, but we wanted to, or we like to think that shake is something that nature is telling us something as well, and try to shake us as well in a, again, not a positive way, but like telling us something, to learn something. I think for me, the earthquake told me to move. And I was in Japan for many years, but then after the earthquake I started feeling like maybe I want to do something different, even though I'm feeling comfortable at the time. I was feeling comfortable, but also wanted to do more, and it's okay. And kind of like earthquake is kicking my bum to do something. I think that was the reason. But still, I also felt the connection with the ground, with the land I lived in Japan. So, hitting by the earthquake, I found a bond between me and Japan as well as Japanese people and me. And plus, I realized that I wanted to move. I didn't want to stuck in one country or one place. That's the, not result, but that's what I got from the accident. funny, it's not funny, but good things that you mentioned, like where is home, because that was actually my theme of project, and my life project is called Tadaima Yoga. I guess I was always searching home and then doing yoga and going to other places, and of course Sendai, I was born in Shiogama, and now my mom lives in Sendai, and my sister and family is there. So Sendai and that area is my home. But home could be anywhere you are. And yeah, I'm just, maybe this is not the answer for the question, but I've been feeling that, yeah, anywhere that where home is, because I'm doing yoga, home is like your body, and then yourself is the home. So, but there are places that you can relax. There are places that you cannot relax. It's related to the atmosphere of the land as well. But could be there are many homes that many places that you can call home. For me, my case, Sendai, Shiogama, that area or that sceneries when I used to, for example, close to the yoga studio there's a park, and I usually sat there eating lunch, and springtime cherry blossoms blooms, and looking at the sakura and eating, or people lying down, or that kind of scenery is home for me. But at the same time, every time when I go back my house where I live now in Hove, I feel like, oh, I'm home, I came back. So it's related to the place, but also what the home is inside of you, but it's also related to the place as well. Yeah, and I just want to pick those like comfortable places where you can, it's like a fish in the water. You're the fish, but outside of the water sometimes you cannot, if you're the fish and outside of the water you cannot swim. So there are certain places you can swim, but could be anywhere, could be many those places. That's what I think about.
Used to tell me to go abroad from like when I was in junior high school, but I just wanted to continue doing something at that time. So I thought it would be good to go out when I want to go out. But I had that kind of idea from before coming here, and I wanted to study art and design, but I didn't want to go art school in Japan because I have to be really good at drawing. My family used to go trip to Europe more than other places, like Asian other countries or in Japan. So when I started thinking about going abroad to study, Europe was kind of familiar and it came up in my mind first. And
Although I hadn't been to England before, like broad sense of Europe was familiar to me, and it's English speaking country, so that's one of the reasons. And obviously it's good at theatre and performance thing in London, so maybe that's the biggest reason. Europe sense English speaking country and performance theatre country, Shakespeare country.
The very first time I left her in London, because I put her to the school, the preschool of the Centre St. Martin. So I brought her to London and take to the school. So I was back to Japan after that. So I have to left her. I had to leave her alone. So that time, the worst thing for me in my life, almost. The saddest thing for me, because I feel miserable for her, and it could be good thing for her to study abroad alone, even if she was 17 or 18, so young. But it must have been a good experience for her in her life. But I couldn't believe that at that time, because she was so miserable. She seemed so sad, and also I am so sad. So I feel so guilty about that then. And all the way to Japan in a flight, I was weeping. I couldn't believe that it was me, because I'm not that emotional kind of person. So of course emotional, but not that
Expressive?
expressive, or not that outgoing, or how can I say? I'm not that good at express my emotion outside. So, but I couldn't control my emotion at that time. But after that, I started to write letters to her every day. So every day I wrote or drew a postcard to her. So it soothed my kind of miserable emotion, and maybe it is. I believe that it is good for her, and it might 元気
It'd be better for her.
Better for her, and she might have some kind of energy from that, or some kind of love or good emotion from my card. So also for me, it's good to control my emotion. And she sometimes sent me back, but it's much less than my card. So yeah, and then gradually my strong emotion is cooled down, and I can enjoy the act. I mean that the write card or letters to her every day. So it's kind of daily thing for me.
Do you still do it every day?
every day. Yeah, every day one piece of card, a piece of card. So she keep oh here I can keep I keep.
I like the kind of calmness, or people are kind of calm and sort of quiet. I like that. It's a bit similar to Japan, but here it's more free, or we don't really care about others. We, or like English people, don't have to be English, but people in London, or yeah, maybe in London. I don't know about other places much, but individuality, like individual mind is something I like more than Japan. And like calmness or quietness is something I like more about other countries. Not compared to Japan, but other foreign countries. It's not my home. I think that's it. I don't have anything that I don't like particular in London or in UK. But it's just not my home. So it never gets like somewhere really familiar to me, or like JR sound. Like when I go back to Japan, the language, like Japanese signs, are of course familiar, and that makes me, oh, it's Japan. Like Yokoso Nihon, like welcome to Japan. In Narita or Haneda, oh, it's Japan. But the like Yamanote-sen sound, or like announcement, or the sound of transportation thing, that's really familiar to me. It's really like specific, and it never gets same in other places. So like even though we have kind of similar sounds as a city in Tokyo or in London, New York, but still it's different. Maybe it's just it's familiar to me. But I've never moved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was born in that house, and hospital, but yeah, in that house, and I lived there for 19 years before coming to UK. And still that's my home. So there's no home other than that place. So yeah, like compared to kind of half people, or like mingle people, maybe there's more like just simple image of home.
Yeah.
Or yeah, there's no wonder or question about home. So single-minded and simple. Because when I first came to London for short course, I missed a lot. When I saw the cloud of the airplane, that reminds me Japan or home or everything. Like when I see family or people talking in English or in different language. Oh, it's not Japan. Why I'm here? But I know it's not Japan, but then what? Oh, because I chose to come here and like, just I got used to it. So now I don't really miss Japan. I mean, I don't get sad. Of course, I miss Japan. I mean,
It's a
I want to go back, but not really. I have to go back home. Why I'm here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we both struggled for a while because my father was busy, so, and my mom was trying to be with me all the time, so we were together all the time, and suddenly we got a huge distance physically, and it was kind of shocking. Not shocking.
It was a shock to the system, kind of.
Yeah, I didn't experienced that before, and I didn't really like worried about it before. But when I got to that situation, that was huge difference. It was like physically together for like about 20 years. So it's like lacking my body or that kind of sense. But then it's just kind of physically thing. Physically or like I'm not sure that's the right word, like
So like
physically, but it's
the opposite, or
and if we if we got distance mentally, that's a bit different story, I guess. Like mentally, we knew we kind of loved each other and like miss each other, and we knew that it didn't make difference to our relationship to be in distance because we're mother and daughter, so like
that
it's
doesn't change.
stable, yeah. So that's nothing to worry about. So it's just physically surprised that she's not close to me, and like we talk seriously every day and everything, and now I don't have anyone to talk that naturally. So at that moment I realized that it's a huge difference to live with her or not. But as I thought you before, like that doesn't change our relationship. Like that doesn't make it like bad, or that doesn't destroy. The relationship is changing, but she has her own thing. So yeah.
What do you think of your mom's work?
As an artist or as my mom, like
As an artist?
I really
But
both, yeah. I really respect her because I don't have that desire or natural motivation to make work or continuously or constantly make something or create something. And I want that confidence. I don't have that confidence now. And I think I've been always wanted to be like her. But not in the realistic sense that what I was realized, because we are not the same person. So like we have to have different, but or like I have to get something for myself, not to copy my mom, but yeah, I want to find something like same as her work for her. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to study history when I was in high school. So I didn't notice my deep feeling at the time, but now I guess I wanted to know the fact or kind of truth in a world or in history in the past. And maybe I'm kind of skeptical kind of person, maybe. So I want to know what is the truth or what is the fake. Maybe the kind of feeling is my core part. I still have that thing in my deep part. So the reason is the same, but the
outcome is
a little bit different. So then I started my journey, kind of journey, to know what is the truth or what is the deepest part in the world. I still don't understand. It's too difficult to understand. And I like as you know, I like draw the letters or draw the kind of illustration. Yes, calligraphy. So when I first met calligraphy, it is very suit for me because I'm interested in history and the history of writing and the background of calligraphy and also the medieval history or kind of the Bible. So I was a student of the Protestant Christian school from the elementary school, and before that the kindergarten is run by church. So I'm familiar with the Christian Protestant theory. So, and first I noticed that the Bible or the historical text such as Herodotus are all written by hand, and handwritten letters is so mysterious and so fundamental thing for me at that time. And the kind of artistic expression of medieval manuscripts or old writing is so fascinating for me. Was so fascinated for me. So I enjoyed doing calligraphy for almost 10 years after I graduated the school, the university. So then maybe my knowledge or my technique and my goal, not goal, but is mixing together during the 10 years or something.
I went to the school that my mom went and my grandmother went. And I went there from my primary school to high school.
Oh wow.
So most of my friends are like
Same.
18 years friend. 16 years now. She has younger sister, 2 years. She also went to that school.
Yeah.
And my cousin, like my aunt's daughter, is going to that school now. At this, I think it might be a generation thing. Like, it's more liberated period in generally in Japan, but I think we have a really open, close relationship, open but intense.
Yeah.
Intense because it's open. But my mom and my grandma, it was a bit more old, traditional way, in a way. And maybe it's more about my mom. My mom was quite free, and she wanted to be free. My mom is more liberated than my grandma's generation or standard. She struggled a bit, I guess, or she got annoyed. I think that's why I don't know, it's like chicken and egg, but she's artist now, and it's really her thing that suits her, or that's her job. And to be a daughter of my grandma, or to be a wife of my dad is a bit different to her own instinct or nature. I guess, I'm not sure. That also made consists or make her as her now. So that's kind of essential thing as well. But she's kind of tried to balance with her own work or her own nature and the role as a daughter or wife or my mom or I guess. Yeah, that's interesting. My mom wasn't trained as an artist or art. She didn't have any art education. She just went to the normal school studying history and went into the company to work as an office lady, OL. And married to my dad in that company. And yeah, but that naturally happened to her. So, and I'm trained in art school now, but I don't have that strong thing, or I have I don't have that much confidence.
First of all, at first, I I went to work, and after that I studied calligraphy class at night. But after a few years, I understood that the work I did is completely unsuitable,
Unsuitable, yeah.
unsuitable for my character or personality or my goal. So the salary is not that bad, but it's not that good for me. I felt and I understand my limit, limit of ability to that work. So I quit the job and I started another job in a design company. And then I started to study design, and at the same time I am a calligrapher, freelance calligrapher. I work as a freelance calligrapher at the same time. Yeah, before Kinari. But really overlapping. Yeah. So actually Kinari, when Kinari was born, I quit the job in the design company. So I started another job to teach calligraphy at home, and still work as a calligrapher, freelance calligrapher as well. Not more calligraphy. Yeah, it could be more calligraphy and more my own expression, like so-called dear letter, or have a gallery and work as a kind of professional artist at the gallery. Yeah, I started that kind of thing after Kinari.
Plan to be an artist or like not anything. She just, I guess she just did what she wanted to do at that moment and continued doing that. She already does what she wants to do in a way. Of course, like balancing with what she has to do, but then it turned out to be an artist or like making things. So for me, that looks like the way it's supposed to be. Now I don't have that strong thing that I want to do or I want to follow. So
no, yes or no, it's a very hard question for me. So it's still going on. So my mom is living. So, but I believe that my family relationship was good, or the really ordinary one, as I can't compare with other families. So it's a normal for me. So I'm not sure what it is, but sometimes my mom priority is herself. Of course, sometimes the priority is myself. Than Kinari could be, but more apparent than I. So when I was getting older, I was getting older. More I can understand what she feel, what she think about the family or myself. So gradually I felt, her priority is just herself, so kind of thing. Of course, my family, my life is protected, kind of protected, and safe, so not that bad circumstance. So, but maybe she's housewife, and she doesn't work, and she doesn't want to work or do something else. But sometimes she told me, you have to do something else, or maybe it was good for me. It was good for my choice to be choice. Sorry, my English is confusing. Anyway, my mom and the relationship with my mom and I is a little bit different from the relationship between I and Kinari.
A generational
Yes, kind of. And I don't want to be like my mom. Recently, that kind of feeling is gradually cooling down. But once I very strong as a very strong emotion, I hate my mom and what she is thinking about my job or my life. So not that kind, or this is just for herself. So her pride or her it could be a normal thing for many women around the world. But yeah, so my interest, my strong interest is the truth, or what is the truth. So I don't understand why she lies, or why she hides the true part in her. So I thought she's not that natural than I, so I say anything or everything to her, but she didn't do that for me. So she hid something behind her. I feel like that.
There's
not that transparent, even for me. So that was maybe kind of sadness for me. Why she tell me? Why she didn't tell me everything, or that kind of thing? Yeah, that is maybe a sadness in my mind. pretend something, so kind of pretentious. So it's so sad for me.
Even now?
Yes, even now. But now I can accept. I can accept her personality or character as a more general treaty. So not my mom, or so she's just a woman of in another in the world.
I think it's more about my mom. Like I think I don't have that much strong feeling for place. If my family is somewhere else, then just that's
all you need.
yeah. Like Daikayama or that building or that room is most familiar place. But that's it. I think I've never lost it before, so that's why kind of I don't have fear to lose it. Like I'm old enough to, like, that's why I don't have trauma to lose it. So
for me, the calligraphy or the self-expression as an kind of artist would be necessary to live, or to necessary to maintain myself, to keep myself in a family. So I can't stop. I couldn't stop it. Otherwise, I lose myself in a family. So I don't know the reason, but I don't want to be I am a housewife and I'm a mother and I'm a wife, but it's okay. But where is Yumi? Something
Yumi,
like that.
yes,
Yeah, I'm Yumi, so I don't want to lose Yumi in the family as well, or in not the world, but it's the deepest feeling or emotion, one of the deepest feeling and emotion. So I couldn't stop. That the reason.
It's interesting because she believes she can believe in herself in a way. She's not narcissist.
Narcissist.
No, yeah. She's not that kind of person, but in a good way, she has confidence, or she has good instinct. So.
And even if people have weird ideas that, or don't, have some problem, they wouldn't say it. Yeah, but most of the time, people are super polite. And when we did get married at the office, we had a bunch of people show up because we were kind of worried. Like, I went in a dress, full film presentation, and on the papers, our gender markers don't reflect the way we were presenting. And I even have documents that say both gender markers, have the other one too. And I was a little worried, what if I try to say no? So we had all these people come with us just in case, to be like, no, you have to do this. But they didn't care. And the lady knew. She knew at the desk. I think she said something referring to me, to Aya, said oh, your husband is very beautiful. And just kept saying that, kind of, but in a way that was very yes, I know what's going on. And then, another part was in the Japanese family registry, our names were put down, right? And on each little subset of the family, there's a household leader that's written down. So usually it's the man, right? Or whatever. But, this time I put down, household leader, him, right? But the person at the desk kept trying to talk him out of it. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because on his documents it still says F or whatever. So, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Because apparently it's 98% of the time it's the man who's the household leader. It's super uncommon. And I'm not sure what that really means outside of a piece of paper.
Yeah.
If what rights on that document, what rights does that mean? Or does it mean in 100 years when someone looks at that document that has some meaning? And people are really serious about paperwork here, so it's kind of hard to tell. The paperwork thing is kind of intense. Sexism's really bad. Yeah. Men are pretty bad here. The problem is I don't understand and speak enough Japanese to know what people are saying. But from what Aya's told me and the feelings I get from people, it's pretty clear. Old guys have said some weird shit to me about my body. I mean, it's not too bad. In that there's not violence I have to worry about. As a trans person, that's like the thing I'm more worried about. The rape culture thing here is really intense and really weird how accepted it is. And
It's like if you're dressed a certain way, like the idea that if you're dressed a certain way, then that makes it acceptable.
Yeah, that happened in the news recently. This lady got raped, and that's what the judge said. It was like, well, you were dressed in this way, so it's okay. Yeah. So it's really brutal.
Yes, but actually, so
You have to behave the way everyone else does. But you'll also always be probably viewed as an outsider.
Exactly.
Even if you live here the rest of your life, it seems, from what I understand from other people who've lived here for a long time. So there is that kind of, collectivism. Got signed when I was like 17. I was in this band, and everything was going great, kind of. And the singer was like totally crazy, and some other things happened, and kind of got into. It's kind of a long story, but basically I left the band and kind of wild out for a couple of years, and then was in this other group for a while and wrote some songs, this queer group, and then left that and kind of branched out into my own thing. And the band was called Josephine Collective, and then the queer group was called Shun. And then I kind of accidentally made this thing with some friends called C-Punk, and that became a whole thing. Yeah. Started a bunch of stuff. And but I was like a different person totally. So it's like, even though this stuff was happening, I couldn't really, until later, then it's like, oh, now I'm free, I can do my own thing. It's like after I started this night, anniversary, but then December, that December was when I basically came out, kind of, which isn't, as a trans person, it's different. Like, I think in gay world, everybody's coming out. Coming out's like a big deal. It's like you're saying something, hey, I'm coming out, but you're really coming out for straight people because you're trying to be a part of like the heteronormative kind of structure. So you have to come out for them because you make them uncomfortable, right? So, but I felt like I know I have to come out because I have a public, albeit like probably not huge, but big enough to where if I don't come out, everyone's just gonna be like, I mean, maybe everyone would have figured it out, but it's easier if I'm just like, nope, this is how it is, and that's it. And the old person's dead, and I'm done with that shit, so. And a bunch of people, definitely, people came out of the woodwork, from my past, ready to watch the trans show, and people left because, or fans maybe, or whatever, because, I don't align my lifestyle, in quotes, for the recorder, doesn't, as if it's a choice, doesn't align with their worldview or whatnot. So a lot of people cut me off. And then, the whole family shit's always weird. Very, very rarely do you ever hear of anyone's family just being like totally cool, It's difficult for anyone, especially if it took me, 28 years, I guess, to get to that point. Why should I expect my family to magically understand the next day? And on top of all that, so everything's cut off, and then you're kind of alone, and then you have to start transitioning, which for, transitioning to more estrogen dominant side of things, then it can get way more emotional, and you're losing a lot of strength, so that can be kind of difficult. Whereas, for trans guys, once they start taking meds, they're like, hey, whoa, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to work out, everything's better. For trans women, it's like, why isn't anything changed? Why is it taking so long? And I'm going crazy. And it takes 6 to 7 months for things to start to balance out. And I say the first day of taking that was like instant better. I don't want to make it all sound like it's bad. I want to make it, yeah, it was like the first day was like just weight, just gone, just fine, good. And you know, that kind of like almost estrogen high, or just freedom, or maybe it's psychological, maybe it's hormonal. Hormones are powerful shit. And a lot of people don't realize the kind of internal sort of thing that's going on with that. Most people just think it's like outside, or you know, you're trying to look a certain way. They don't really understand it's the inside, how you know, how it makes you feel. But yeah, fuck, that changes by the day.
Yeah.
When I do my younger self, you know, start transition at 17, you know, start transition at 20, like just as soon as some kids know, like as early as like they can be thinking, like as early as they're aware, they know. They probably, like, some kids just start acting that way, like behaving in maybe more typical gender roles. But then some people aren't as gender conforming or somewhere else, and it can take longer. I think it seems, though, in my experience, most people tend to notice or know that something is wrong around like 13, because, you know, hormones are kicking in, and they're like, this isn't right, something is fucking wrong here. But as far as, yeah, like you said, the way you're raised and all of that, it can take a lot longer for people to behave, like to try to do something about it, I guess. Some people don't, you know. I think most people, you know, just kind of trapped in thinking that they can't change. I grew up like really Christian, conservative in Kansas City, so like just coming to terms with sexuality in general, outside of gender, as far as anything like that, was difficult. Just because of the way I was raised to feel ashamed about whatever, or just not given information, going to like kind of Christian school for a while, not really knowing things and having to research things on my own in whatever way that took form. So yeah, it's complicated. So I kind of knew something was wrong at 12, 13, kind of made some sort of peace with it, and then it came back up when I was like 18 to 20, kind of, and I kind of, so yeah, and then I think I knew when I was like 20, like I knew, but I pushed it, like back, like, nah, that's bullshit, like, you know, I had to deal with a lot of misogyny and internalized transmisogyny and all this weird shit. And that's when things really started changing, because hormonally, that's when, like, for you know, for at least my body, like, the way it was working, things were setting in, you know, the testosterone was starting to cut away, like, and in my mind too. And by 25, that's when I knew, like, all right, I have to do something about this. I didn't know how that would take form. But, you know, around that time, 25 to 28, was trans awareness was just becoming more popular, and with how much information was out there, and where I was, and the resources I had, and the city I lived in, it was just like the easy. I had enough support that I was like, okay, I can finally just like come out and do this. And it was weird. I even think back like 6 months prior, the thoughts I were having was like totally misogynistic, or not like I'm like the worst, biggest, strongest, like women, whatever. Like, no, but there was still enough, like my thinking was still trapped, like up to like the moment like I finally came out. So, again, that's like my experience. Some people, I don't know, don't have to deal with undoing all that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it was a city, but, you know, you weren't too far out from the countryside. As far as cities go, it's kind of a flyover city for most people. And there's a weird enough scene there, and a lot of artists there in Kansas City. Because there's an art school and kind of a community that's been there. And there's a lot of cool parts to it. So there was a beacon there to kind of like connect to something. So I wasn't, you know, I could pull myself out of the mess. But, yeah, you know, for most of my early years, it was super like brainwash time. Just like the thoughts those people, like teachers or at church, trying to put it into my brain. It was so weird. Looking back, you know, the more time passes, the more I realize so many people are stuck in that.
For about 25 years. And I'm enjoying staying in Tokyo because there are a lot of culture, a lot of kind of people. So I like the life in Tokyo very much. Although I was from Kobe, Kansai district. So at first I didn't like the essence of Tokyo because the things are quite different between Kansai and Kanto. But now I'm okay. I'm quite satisfied with my situation. Well, in fact, I have never had a job since I got married, even before the marriage, because I was brought up by my mother in that way. She believed that for a woman to get married and to be a mother is the best thing in her life. So I have been doing that, and now I'm doing that. I'm quite satisfied. And my family is husband and 4 children are doing quite well, I believe. I don't think I am a perfect housewife and mother, but I believe that this is my own job. She was very strict and a kind of education mother. In Japanese, kyoik mama. So she was quite enthusiastic about giving education to children, and she believed that everyone should have a higher education. So she was really strict to me, but I am very grateful to her for that. That makes me what I am now. Yes, in my family, I mean my own family, mother is stronger than my father, and he didn't have a lot of opinions, or he didn't say a lot to me and to my younger brother. I think he was not privileged to have that kind of thing. So I think I am a kind of mirror of my mother. In my generation, it is very common to go to universities or junior college. Yes. So that's why I really wanted my children to go to at least universities or graduation. Yes, I think so, and thanks to my husband. and his wages is quite high, I think. I mean, compared with the average of Japanese people. That's why I could bring my children in quite a good condition. That's a good lucky thing. He likes working here, I know.
Can you think of anything?
In fact, I did have a depression in my life. It was quite serious. I couldn't do anything at all. I felt very guilty in everything. If one of my children did something wrong or a bad thing, I thought that it was because of me. Because I am the mother of that children. I think he or she did that. And it was a long tunnel and quite difficult to get out of it. But gradually I came to think that my work or I think the beginning of my depression came from my husband. Because my husband has been very strict and did things like a king in the kingdom and in the family. So I have been always following him or obeying him. It's called Teishi Kanpaku in Japanese. So the husband is always king and the house is always like a servant or something. And that kind of thing. And I didn't want to change the situation still because that was the traditional way of operating the family for the Japanese tradition. But that was the cause of the depression of me, I think so. And another thing is that my eldest son changed his life drastically when he was 15 or 16 years old. He didn't sleep all the night and he was just doing computer games. And then in the morning he just slept and got up very late. But still he went to school about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And of course I told him to do good things and go to bed over time and get up and go to school. But he couldn't do that. He was a kind of, how do you say, fascinated. I don't remember well.
It's like a long process.
Yes. But, he saw my condition at that time. I was getting crazy and doing something strange in my house. I once cut the sofa with my knife. Not the people.
No.
But I just wanted to break something, yes. And he knew and he saw everything about me. And gradually he began to change himself, but gradually. And he could graduate from the university, high school. And it was a surprise because he once said that he wanted to be a nurse. Why? I don't know, but I'd like to take care of people. And I was really happy and glad to hear that because she learned something from his process of life. Yes, I'm quite feeling free now because most of my children are grown up and they are independent now. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying my life and time. Yes, I went to Korea next medicine and counseling. Helped me a lot, and I wrote a lot of letters to my friends, and I spoke to a lot of people. And unfortunately, my parents were not alive at that time, so I couldn't ask them for help. But by writing a letter or by saying something to other people, I could get energy, some comfort from them. That's good. Yes, he said that he himself was not the kind of person to get depressed. I think he's quite energetic and full of his energy. That kind of person, yeah. And he has always having something, but he wanted it. So basically, he couldn't understand what I was feeling. He might thought that I was a weak person. But and he said he was not a professional doctor or something, so he didn't know how to help me. So sometimes he came back to home quite late because he didn't want to see what I was. I was a very bad condition. So it was quite sad when I felt quite lonely. Fortunately, my friends and people around me helped me a lot. Even children, even the eldest son were my hope, were my responsibility. So I thought that I have to keep on living and doing something. And gradually, I came to think that my aim in my life is not that I have to be a great person. I have to become a very big person. But just bringing up children and let them have a good condition in life, in the society, is the best thing. Yes, I think so. We do have discoveries through me. They understand that there are many kinds of different kinds of people. Each one is not the same. Oh, well, I say that it was not it was worth having that kind of time in their life. Because I felt quite bad at that time, but that experience taught me a lot of things, and I think I became a bit stronger than before. Still now, I cannot, pour out everything to my husband. I need emotions, feelings. Because I am still a bit scared of him. I don't know why. But I think, I know that my husband thinks that I am inferior to him. He does think that we are all equal. And they want to, he wants to be like familiar with me or with my children as well. So that's not a problem. In the past it was a taboo also, but in these 20 years it's getting quite there's no high barrier at all now. So everyone can go to me and